So inside of Torah right now, as I shared a moment ago, we are inside a time of revelation. In this cycle of our readings that move us through, our narratives that then circle back and repeat again, we are inside one of three grand themes, that of revelation. The other themes are creation, the creation of all things, redemption, which we just were experiencing in the Yitziat Mitzrayim, the leaving of the narrow place, and now we're in a place of revelation. This is the book of Exodus. We just went on that journey that took us through and around in a roundabout way to the edge of the sea, and then the leap of faith to cross the waters. And then we have entered into a greater unknown, into the wilderness, the Midbar. And we sang about it last Erev Shabbat that we were together. We sang and celebrated. And now we have come into the Midbar, and now we're at the foot of the mountain. As we looked at last week together, we're in the beginning of the revelation of Torah, and the people are gathered together at the foot of the mountain, and Moses is coming down with instructions. This is where we are in the next part of our journey. We are in the depth of the journey that takes us from being enslaved physically, spiritually, into a community of free people. This is our task, and it will take the whole rest of Torah. All of the journey through the wilderness is a journey to become an ethical, conscious community. And it turns out that takes a lot of work. So there is a lot of trying and trying and trying again. I've been thinking this week about all of the guidelines. This parsha is Mishpatim, and it's just one rule, one instruction, one guideline after the other. And I've been thinking about how important rules and guidelines are inside of our tradition. It's probably why so many of us are lawyers. And I've been thinking about it in the context of this undoing of structures of support and community inside of our country in this moment. For example, let's just get rid of nuclear security and safety staff that check nuclear power plants and other spaces. Or let's get rid of the department that gives aid to those suffering with HIV around the world. Or you know them all, because you're looking at them every day. All the things that are being dismantled, these sudden changes. And so we go, oh yes, we go to the courts. We go to a place where thoughtfully and ethically there are parameters, guidelines, limits. And now there's this rumbling of what courts? We don't need courts. And that is not how we do things in our tradition. We celebrate, wrestle with, change over time consciously and intentionally our guidelines and law, and we stay anchored to them. Rabbi Jonathan Sacks of blessed memory said, true freedom requires the rule of law and justice and a judicial system in which the rights of some are not secured by the denial of rights to others. In which the rights of some are not secured by the denial of rights to others. So what is happening in this encounter at the mountain? In this moment of revelation, in this receiving of instructions for the first time in Torah, what is happening is a call and response, a giving and a commitment, a call out and a response. First, it happens when we hear the 10 Commandments and all of the instructions. God tells Moses to tell the people to keep the brit, keep the covenant. Moses summons the elders of the people and put forth all that was commanded, and all those assembled answered, Kol asher diber Adonai naaseh. All that God has said, we will do. Then there are more instructions given, and Moses went and repeated it to the people, and again, Kol hadvarim asher diber Adonai na'aseh. And they said in a kol echad, in one voice, a collective answer, all that we have been asked to do, we will do. And then Moses does a ritual of offerings. And after that, again, an affirmation, a response. Kol asher diber Adonai na'aseh v'nishma. We will do and we will understand. We will do and we will hear, make sense of, understand, do first. Repeatedly, a call and response at the foot of the mountain. Witnessing requires a response. Active, present, responsive witnessing, the taking in of each other requires a response. Emmanuel Levinas, a beautiful thinker and philosopher, said, it can only be in relationship with a person with another. The Torah is given in the light of a face. It is our encounter with each other that we are witnessing. The epiphany of the other person is ipso facto my responsibility to them. I witness you, I'm responsible to you. I encounter you, I am responsible to you. And then I get the rules. It is that moment before the moment of revelation. I see you, I am responsible to you. Now let's get to the details of that. But first, I witness you, and I am responsible to you. Aviva Zorenberg says the infinity encountered at Sinai is also the infinity encountered in the face of any other. It requires action, response that comes before any calculation or even before any choice. Call and response, I witness you, I am responsible for you. We feel this when we witness those in deep suffering. It is an immediate call inside that requires a response. One of the things that's concerning to me, and this week I felt it very much, when folks get into siloed spaces around what you see, it affects your response. So if you're only seeing this, then how do you know about this? And this, and this, and this, and everything around. And this was one of those weeks where there was certain feeds in which people were in deep despair seeing this, and others were not seeing it, seeing something else. I know it's not possible to witness everything. Let me just put that out there, especially right now. It's not possible to witness everything, and yet, part of the courage of these times is to be opening to witnessing what we can, what is right in front of us, and to not turn away and pretend that we're not witnessing what we just did witness. You don't ask your friend, what's the 12 things you just witnessed? You got enough right in you in what you're saying to respond. There's also a place of witnessing animals in this Torah portion. There are lots of instructions about animals. Oxes figure prominently. A goring ox, an animal that eats too much of the field, and ways that you have to make restitution if these things happen, if these damages are caused by animals. And there's also an instruction that tells us if you see the ass of your enemy lying under its burden, you cannot refrain from raising it up. So again, I see the animal, I am responsible. I witness, I am responsible, even if it's the animal of my enemy. One would think you could say, well, I don't have to help that person. The Torah goes out of our way to say you witness and you respond. Even when it's the suffering connected to an enemy. I was thinking about this moment of seeing and responding when my son was 4 years old. You know how when you open Netflix and something just starts playing, like because they're trying to get you to watch whatever they're trying to push right then? He was 4, and he was in a place of coming to greater understanding that some of the foods he was eating were animals, because we were doing that at that time. Some of the foods he was eating were animals. And he had begun to ask about that at 4, and he had started to shift his eating a little bit, like, what's this, you know? But still we were eating sometimes like chicken and like sliced turkey, which doesn't really, you know, it's sliced, you don't necessarily think so much about it. And that day he wanted to watch some cartoons, and I opened the Netflix, and there was like a documentary about like where our food comes from. And it started playing, and he was like, oh, look, chickens, because it was like inside of an area with a whole bunch of chickens. And he was like, oh, wow, look at the chickens. And then he said, and then I was like, oh, I was like desperately trying to get to the next thing, the cartoon. But he witnessed it. And he said, Mom, I saw the chickens flying around, but what were all of those things on the ground that the people were walking on and stepping on? What was on the ground? Chickens. Lots and lots of chickens in that factory farm on the ground. But they were stepping on the chickens. Why weren't the chickens moving? Well, they were all dead. No more eating chicken. That was sort of the end and the beginning of his clarity and journey. Witnessed and response. 4 years old, this is what that is that I'm eating? How can we continue to stay open to what we are witnessing so that we can respond? And if you're having times inside of yourself where you think, oh, I'm not going to witness this, or oh, maybe this is not what it looks like, or oh, whatever is coming in, I want to invite you, challenge you, nudge you to slow that down and to slow all of it down so that we can fully witness and from there move into response. And you might be thinking, but Rabbi, I know, I want to respond. How do I respond? How do I respond? There is so much. Absolutely, there is so much. And that also means that our responses are creative and infinite and endless. There is so much healing and repair and goodness we can offer in our responses right now. Those are not limitless. Those are not limited. Those are limitless. We can respond right now. And how we do so matters. And asking the people who are most impacted matters. We saw that just with the fires, right? When it was like, okay, people are affected by fires, and people brought boatloads of clothes. So many clothes, right? Some of you were involved in distribution centers. I was as well, and we just couldn't handle all the stuff. And in fact, people were saying, I don't have a house to put this in. Are people remembering that? And in fact, what I need more is something else. So how we respond also matters. Asking and being ready with 3 or 4 suggestions. How about this, this, and this? And somebody saying, actually that, yes, and those other things, no. Or actually, I need something totally else. Centering the ones most impacted. After the fires, a couple weeks later, some of the families in our community, when we said, what do you need? We listed some things, and they say, you know what we really need? Right now, we need some time alone with the adults. Like, I want to go be with my partner without my kids for a little bit because it's been so overwhelming. Great, we can help with that. So last week we had a movie night, and the kids curled up with blankets and sleeping bags and watched the Lorax. And their parents had an opportunity to go out and have some time to breathe together. We witnessed, and then we asked, how could we respond? That is a continuous cycle. That's what it means to be in community. I witness, how can I respond? And the last piece I want to leave you with is that is part of what we do together collectively when we come to a service. Built inside the structure of our service is this idea of call and response. We do it in the Baruch Hu, we do it in several different places, a call and a response. And the one to me that's most meaningful, that feels like our ancients were asking us to practice this. We want you to practice every time you get together the muscle of witnessing and responding. And so my place that I most deeply feel that is in the mourner's Kaddish. When we say the mourner's Kaddish together, there are times, many moments, that the mourner just says it on their own. And we try to replicate that, right? We try to replicate that physically in our community by having the mourners come to the center and have all of us surrounding them. But it's right there in the words. When we say the mourner's Kaddish, the mourners chant, and at the end of the line, the Amen, or the Brichu, is the community saying, I'm here with you, I'm witnessing you, and I'm responding to you. That sense of being held. And then the mourner and the community says, Yehei Shmei Rabbah, line together, right? And it's an opportunity to say to the mourner, not only do I witness you, but I'm here walking with you. What does it mean to hold the mourner in that way? In a witness you and I am with you. And the beauty is that we get to do that every time we're together. And practice what it means to witness each other, affirm that we've taken each other in, and have what comes from us in this immediate response. So my blessing for you is to know that in our lives right now, part of what we can strive to be is an ed emet, a true witness. The 10 Commandments ask us not to be an ed shaker, not to be a false witness. It is one of our 10 Commandments. May all of us strive together to be a true witness. May we witness, may we respond, may we do and understand for each other and for all that is around us in these times. Shabbat Shalom.
If I needed you, would you come to me? Would you come to me for to ease my pain? If you needed me, I would come to you. I would swim the seas for to ease your pain. Well, the night's forlorn, oh, the morning is born, and the morning it shines with the light of love. And you'll miss sunrise if you close your eyes, and that would break my heart in two. If you needed you, would you come to me? Would you come to me for to ease my pain? If you needed me, I would come to you. I would swim the seas for to ease your pain.
Baby's with me now, since I showed her how to lay her lily everyone will agree she's a sight to see, a treasure for the poor to find. If I needed you, would you come to me? Would you come to me for to ease your pain? If you needed me, I would come to you. I would swim the seas for to ease your pain. If I needed you, would you come to me? Would you come to me for to ease my pain?